everyone. Welcome to Off the Charts, episode 168. Before we start off, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe and tell your friends. This motivates me to make some more episodes like this. Loving the interaction and the subscription and all that. So today's episode is going to be another one of my revisiting. I wouldn't use the word forgotten because they're around still. But so anyway, I'm still going to use revisiting or re-educating ourselves on bands from back then. Maybe you guys know about them, probably, but back then they were they had their own style of music. So I'm talking about Alcatrazz. And I'm going to do only the Graham Bonnet version. So I have a friend, I'm not going to name his name, but he probably had a boner alert when he saw the thumbnail of my new episode. So he loves Graham Bonnet. And I use a term like I don't, he really loves the guy. I like him. Anyway, more on that later on there. So yeah, he owns everything there. So I'm not even sure how I got into Alcatrazz at the time. I know he had a few cassettes, and I found the vinyl because a vinyl of one album, which I don't think he had at the time. And I fell in love with one song in particular. Now, this band, okay, first of all, they were formed in 1983 with Graham Bonnet on vocals, Jimmy Waldo on keyboards, Gary Shee on bass, Jan Uvena on drums, and someone you may have heard of before, Yngwie, let's see if I pronounce it right this time, Yngwie Malmsteen, not Yngwie Malmsteen, like we used to call it back in high school. So did they, like back then, did they sound like Maiden or Black Sabbath? No. Did they sound like Motley Crue or Quiet Riot? No. They had their own, even though they're hard rock, they're like, I wouldn't say the word eclectic, but avant-garde-ish heavy metal, if that makes any sense there. I don't know. It's, to me, nothing sounds like this. I find they had a pretty original sound. They didn't sound like anybody at the time, that's for sure, and that's probably why they didn't make, well, they made a little dent in the music world there, but people knew the name but didn't know the band or their songs, if that makes any sense. So we'll start off, like I said, I'm only concentrating on the Graham Bonnet, more on the second part, a little bit anyway. Sorry, I'm like itching. It's like, ugh. I'm taping this. I'm hoping I'm going to get this in one shot. I'm taping this during a major storm, and there's like a tornado warning. It's not apparently in this section of the town. Well, the warning was, but it was lifted 2 hours ago. So anyway, 10 years ago, you'd be lucky to have three. In the last 10 years, you'd be lucky to have 3 tornado warnings. This summer, we've had 3 tornadoes. So anyway, crazy times. Okay, anyway, back to Alcatrazz. So yeah, I'll go with the first album here. So in 1983, they released their album No Parole from Rock and Roll. So here you go. There's your I think he was 18 at the time. A very young Yngwie Malmsteen. There's your Graham Bonnet that my friend loves. A lot of people love Graham Bonnet. I think he's good there. Do I love him there? No. So anyway, first album. It's not my favorite. It wasn't the introduction to Yngwie Malmsteen. My friend who loves Graham Bonnet. If he wants to show himself, he'll write in a comment. I'm the guy. He'll know who he is there. But yeah, he says it's still Yngwie Malmsteen's best thing he's ever done. Now, I don't find him very flash. Like we all know how Yngwie sounds like. I don't find him that flashy. More to come on that later because I was like, whoa. So yeah, I would say Island. I'm pick 3 songs per album that I think are worth. If you guys don't know them, check them out there. Island in the Sun had the video, pretty sexy video too, if you ask me there. Uh, Jet to Jet's good. Hiroshima Mon Amour is probably their most popular song. It's not my favorite. Like I find it's good. I do prefer Island in the Sun, Jet to Jet, and Kree Nakuri. Are my favorite songs from this album here. Island in the Sun is the one with the video anyway, if you want to check it out there. So yeah, first album came out, No Parole from Rock and Roll. My friend had this on cassette. I don't think I remember seeing the cover. I don't think I've ever listened to it until a few years ago when I bought this here. So here we go. That's their first album right here. This one's very hard rock, a lot of keyboard. It sounds a little like what Yngwie Malmsteen became with, marching out, that type of music there. That makes for some comparison. Sorry. Cheers. So anyway, Graham Bonnet and Yngwie did not get along. One was upstaging the other guy. There was accusations of unplugging the guitarist's amp or something like that. I don't know the whole story there, but anyway, Yngwie left or got fired. I'm not sure. Went and formed a very successful solo career. Actually, probably the most successful. Well, we'll see. But one of the most successful compared to Alcatrazz. Now, here comes album number 2. Like, great. Who are we going to get? Well, as luck would have it, they would actually get a second hotshot guitarist by the name of Steve Vai, fresh off of Frank Zappa. So they go, and this is the album that did it for me. This is easily my favorite from them. So I've had this album. So here, Disturbing the Peace. I've had this since the 80s. Like I probably had like 10 vinyls to my name. This was one of them. I absolutely love the song God Blessed video. Perfect mix of metal, keyboards, and guitars mixed together, like following each other. Great melody, great video too, if you ever see it on YouTube there. But yeah, like this, is there? No, there's nothing. Anyway, I bought this used at the time there. It stood the test of time. I actually took care of this one here. So yeah, Alcatrazz, Disturbing the Peace. Steve Vai's debut with the band. And of course, again, I'm like, this doesn't sound like anything else I've heard at the time. I think they were a little bit ahead of their time. I remember telling my friend that at the time. I'm like, this is not like what was happening at the time, but it was talented and out there sometimes there, but great. Like I said, check out the song. To me, it's the catchiest, most user-friendly, I guess, song they've ever done there. If you don't like God Bless video, you won't like anything else there. So no, start with that. I do like Wire and Wood. Painted Lover is another great one that I love. What was the other one here? Sons and Lovers. Those are probably my favorites. Is that what I added one more here with Wire and Wood. But yeah, Painted Lover is probably my second favorite of the album here. along with Sons and Lovers. Anyway, check it out, especially God Bless video. What a great song that is. Uber catchy. Like uber catchy. So yeah, there you go. Steve Vai. What would happen after this? Well, David Lee Roth leaves Van Halen. He's looking for a hotshot guitarist. Well, this was not doing well, I guess, there. So Graham Bonnet really is like, you know what? You should go for it. They left on amicable terms. Not like when Yngwie left. That was not a friendly split. With Steve Vai, it was. So he's gone off to David Lee Roth, and we all know how that went. So now we need an album number 3. And which hotshot guitarist will they get for this one? Well, drum roll, Danny Johnson. Who the fuck is Danny Johnson, you ask? I don't know myself. No, I'm not dissing on the guy there. He's more about the song. I don't know much about him, to be honest there, but his playing is more about the song than the like we all know about, like Yngwie with arpeggios, and Steve Vai was just like borderline crap there. Like he's got some good stuff there, but he's got these fills that are just annoying me. Whatever. So yeah, Dangerous Games comes album number 3. Wow, talk about a different. This is more of a pop rock album. Very, and the keyboards aren't, like your Deep Purple keyboards. They're like more your like new age type keyboards, if that makes any sense there. Probably my least favorite. Like there's some good songs. Probably my least favorite of the original 3. Well, you know what? Even the 4th one, I'm more on that later on there. It's good. It's just like is missing that little heaviness to it. But It's My Life is a great song. What was the other one here? Dangerous Games, the title track. But my favorite song of this one would be Double Man. That was a great one here. Yeah, Donnie Johnson, I see his picture, and that's him right there. There's no picture. Yeah, there's Steve Vai. See, there's no picture. He either was inside the sleeve, but I didn't have a sleeve inside the sleeve, or insert, I should say, at the time. So yeah, this is the back. And this album did even worse than their second one. Like I think it kind of was going downhill every time. So yeah, I don't know how to describe this. It's not as heavy, but I would say the song Double Man is as good. I'd probably say is better personally than any song on the first one with Yngwie. But yeah, Dangerous Games, the third one. Then they would split. Not sure. I'd have to ask my friend who's Mr. Encyclopedia regarding Graham Bonnet there. Not even sure what he did in between. I think Graham Bonnet did the infamous Michael Schenker, or was it before? I think it was before, actually, if I remember. That famous tour where he stuck his cock out there. But yeah, what the hell did he do between, well, in the 90s especially? I'm not sure there. But he's done other stuff there, like the Graham Bonnet Band and all that there. So come 2020, and I was not expecting much, to be honest. It was on my wish list for like the longest time. Like my friend hardly talks about this album. So Alcatrazz, Born Innocent. So this one has Mark Benquiccia on drums, and Joe Stump is the 4th guitarist to be featured on an Alcatrazz album. And when I said, and the first one were Ingve, you know what? Who fucking cares if I say Ingwe? I've said it all my life. So Joe Stump is like a clone of Ingwe. Big time clone. And while on the first one, yeah, you do hear your Ingve isms. This one is just ridiculously, overwhelmingly full of. I'm like, I texted my friend. I go, holy shit, this guy is like, this Joe Stump is like a clone of Ingve, to a point where it's almost like a parody. Almost there, like this guy sounds more like Ingve than Ingve ever did in Alcatrazz. I'm not talking solo. I'm obviously basing it on Ingve's solo albums there. And I was like, holy shit, man, this guy sounds like Ingve. So, yeah, anyway, but the album is actually pretty decent. So the vinyl has an extra track. So, well, the album is called Born Innocent, and the first song, actually, Born Innocent, is actually pretty good. My friend's like, oh yeah, Finn McCool's like a Halloween. I actually went and re-listened. I'm like, yep, that's a Halloween song, all right. It's actually very good. Like, I was listening to it, but I don't know the titles. Like, I was listening to it, other stuff there. You know, when I receive an album, I just listen to it first to make sure it works. There's no skip. That's how I roll. But yeah, Finn McCool is one of the good ones here. But my favorite, and it actually appears twice. So, I Am the King. The chorus is like, feels like your old Alcatrazz, especially in the No Parole era. A little bit disturbing the peace there. I actually texted my friend yesterday. I go, holy shit, that I Am the King song is easily my favorite of this album. And it appears a second time. So there's I Am the King, and then I Am the King Bob Kulick version. So if anybody knows who Bob Kulick is, that's Bruce Kulick's brother. Well, Bob Kulick actually went and did a lot of Kiss session work. And Bob Kulick passed away 2 months before this album got released. So that pretty much, if not his last recording, I'm not sure there. But yeah, I Am the King is a great song. And the other one I would say, and I was not expecting, but For Tony. And I listened to it. I listened to this album and I'm like, you know, his vocals are, Graham Bond's vocals are good, but you can notice a little bit of, you know? And then I go and see his age. Apparently he was 70 or 72 during this album. I was like, hats off to you, sir. I apologize. So, again, he's not my favorite vocalist, but I was like, holy crap at that age. And then this was 2020, so we're in 2023 now. He came out with an album last year, which actually I found 2 songs that are actually very good here. But the song For Tony, it's just him and like a keyboard. I don't even know how to explain it. Horns, like it's a different sounding keyboard. Could be. Forget what the hell I had it. I was like, oh my god, that's good. What the hell is that instrument? Anyway, I forget there. Could be a guitar or a keyboard sound, but a keyboard that sounds like another instrument. Like, it's not violins or, anyway, I forget. But I really love the song For Tony. Try to look to see who this Tony guy is. I don't know. So, anyway, Alcatrazz, Born Innocent would be the last album with Graham Bonnet. So, this is where I was like, oh, come on, again, like, and we're, so I remember on Instagram, I had seen the Alcatrazz band saying, oh, we're new management, new this coming soon. And then Graham Bonnet replies the next day saying, whoa, 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 I am no longer with that version of Alcatrazz. There will all be two versions and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go again. Two versions of Alcatrazz. We had three versions of Rat at one time, two versions of LA Guns. I'm like, who the fuck? Like, why are you guys doing this? So anyway, I got a little like annoyed with all that. So that's reason one why I'm not getting the two new Alcatrazz albums, was one, that just for solidarity with Graham Bonnet. And two, those fuckers didn't even release it on vinyl. So I'm like, you know what? I don't have a CD player anymore. That makes my excuse even more valid right now. So that's the reason I don't have any Doogie White versions of Alcatrazz, who's now on vocals. I don't even know who the rest of the band is. I think Joe Stump is still with them. But yeah, I'm not not doing that. I don't think my friend either is. I think he's got the first one, but he's not getting a new one coming out this year. We'll see. If it's out already, I don't know. So anyway, this is my episode on Alcatrazz. I knew the name, like I said, as a kid. I found out about him through my friend. And I think at the time they were big time Yngwie Malmsteen fans, which is why they had Alcatrazz. He even had Steeler, if I remember correctly. Then, of course, I think that love of Yngwie dropped and became love for Graham Bonnet, because that guy was like, he is absolutely well respected vocalist, just like Dio is in his own right there. Everybody wants or would like to have Graham Bonnet sing on their albums here. He did Rainbow, Alcatrazz, Michael Schenker. I don't know who else there. He's done little. At one time, my friend was sending me a text because he was trying to get everything Graham Bonnet related, like even his I don't know if it's doo-wop days in the 60s or whatever it was there, but yeah, he's got, like, he'll buy a box set if there's one song he doesn't have of Graham Bonnet on it there. So yeah, at one time he was texting me about. So I know he's got lots of albums that he's guested on there, but yeah, that's Alcatrazz for you. Not many videos, two that I know of. God Bless Video and Island in the Sun. Both are actually worth watching. But anyway, check them out. Curious to see if you guys actually. I'm sure by now people know who Alcatrazz is. Back then, not many people knew who I mean, with the internet now, I'm sure everybody knows who Alcatrazz is there. But at the time, there's like, was not a household name. I've never seen them in Metal Edge or any other magazines and all that there. They were just very, mind you, they were kind of done by the time I was starting to read Metal Edge anyway. But anyway, that's it. So honestly, check out, to be honest, I would check out this one if you're curious about Alcatrazz. This one is actually very worth it. My favorite. If you're a fan of Yngwie, honestly, check out this one here, Island in the Sun. Even Hiroshima Mon Amour is probably their most well-known song. And you know what? Check out the new stuff. But this one's actually, Double Man. Check out the song Double Man. And I Am the King on this one. There's some good, like I said, it's not the best band there, but they've got some. When I say there's really great songs on an album, there's really great songs on an album. So I've hopefully told you what mine are. Actually, I did. I've hopefully convinced you to go check them out. That's what I meant. But anyway, that's it for me. So on that note, I would like to wish you guys a happy whatever. Thank you guys for watching, and we shall see you guys next episode. Take care, and bye-bye.